All right, well, hello again, my dowsing friends. We are here with our dowsing pendulum and our dowsing charts. This is called spiritual response technique or spiritual response therapy, SRT for short. This is when we dive into the root cause of that icky energy that we just found in our energy exchange video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my profile, go to my channel, and look at my shorts or my reels, and you'll find these 3-minute long videos, usually a little under 3-minute long videos, where we do our energy exchange. We find the icky energy we want to release, we find the new energy we want to call in its place, and then we do our mindfulness exercise together, intentionally letting go of that icky energy and calling in the new one. So we've done that today, and we found that the energy we would most benefit from releasing was the energy of worry. And then the new energy was the energy of acceptance. So now we're here for the longer video, the deep dive video. This is when we look at the root of this particular worry. What is behind this particular worry? Is it some sort of an archetype? Is it some sort of another icky energy that has sort of, dragged us into the energy of worry? Is it some sort of programming, either in the conscious mind or subconscious programming? What the heck is going on with this worry? Because we believe that once we find out the root of this worry, then we are empowered to do something about it, to hand it off to spirit, to source, to whatever, hand it off to the universe. We can do some reprogramming statements together. We can do visualizations together. We can talk about some rituals that we can do to release ourselves from this worry. And so there's sort of a multi-step process here, but it's a bit of a journey looking at those things that are hidden, those things in the subterranean realms that might be causing us to have that kind of icky feeling of worry today. And then when we're done looking at all that, we'll look at any blocks we might have to the energy of acceptance, to being able to lean into a state of being that is a little closer to acceptance. If you think about it, worry is really like the opposite of acceptance. We're not accepting what is, and so we are just fretting about it, we're worrying about it, we're thinking about it, we're staying very much in this conscious mind, trying to figure it out or fix it or resolve it, because we aren't just accepting it. We aren't accepting things as they are. Maybe we're not accepting ourselves as we are. So we're gonna look into all of that now. We start by taking our dowsing pendulum. What do I have here today? Shinga Lingam, is that what it's called? Somebody can correct me on that, but she's kind of pretty. She's kind of cute. She's a little striped little brown number. I do sell these pendulums on my Etsy shop, so check me out, The Pointed Stone, on that site if you're interested in purchasing your own pendulum and learning how to do dowsing. So, okay, interesting. So is this chart 3 or is this high self abdication? So chart 3, yesterday or 2 days ago in our last video, we got to have a new high self. So I walked you through the process of calling in our new high self committee, sending the old one off with gratitude. So I thought maybe that's what we were getting, but it's actually on the other side of this circle. The opposite end of that circle is actually chart 3. So we're going to go look and see what is going on here on chart 3. So really down here low on chart 3. Chart 3 speaks to the soul's evolution, our conscious evolution. It's like from the point of the primordial goo up through the level of, being a human and going through all the phases of growth and evolution that all of our souls have to go through before we get to what we call the new paradigm, or basically like going back to being one with all. You've done the journey, you've bought the ticket, you've gone to the circus, you've been around the block. Your soul has been around the block, and now you've kind of reached your evolutionary aha. Well, we're really low here today. This worry, basically, this is saying this is coming from kind of a low place. This is not an evolved place. This worry is coming from. This could be coming from some darkness and from the depths of the ick. And so I'm going to ask, is there a being, a block, or a program you want me to look at? So there's a bit of a program here too. So this is like an unevolved conscious mind program that is operating us, this worry, which for a lot of you, that might make some sense, right? You might be like, yeah, it doesn't even feel like it's mine. So if your worry doesn't always feel like it belongs to you, or you feel like it's not in your control, it's one thing to have a little anxiety, right? It's like, okay, I have a job interview coming up. I have a little anxiety about that. Or, oh, I have to have this hard conversation with somebody. I'm having some anxiety about that. But this is a different kind of thing that we're looking at right now. This is the kind of worry that has taken over your heart, your mind, your soul. You feel trapped in this worry. You feel like you are a prisoner of this worry. This worry is this thing that is like, again, it's like it isn't a part of you and your soul, but it's like a thing, like almost like a sickness that your soul has come down with, kind of like a viral worry, if you will. And that's at least what I'm getting right now in sort of my download here. This is like the message that is coming to me, which is the worry that we're talking about right now is coming from very low levels. It is not our higher selves evolution. This is like low level stuff, and it's programming. This is stuff that like we are programmed to believe, either in this life or a past life, either in, this soul's current awareness or some other time. We have been programmed into this kind of worry. So I'm going to look at the root story of this program. So what in particular can we know about this program of worry? Because once we know it again, then potentially we can really help ourselves in getting over that program, destroying that program. I like to think of it like if it is a program on your hard drive that you get to delete. This is interesting. This came up in a clearing with somebody the other day. So the lines of love just came open, or just came up in the chart. And our lines of love are these energetic lines in the back of our shoulder blades. And this is where love can come in. It's where we can give and receive the energy of love. It's not the only place, but it is one of the places where love can come in and where we can have this kind of open flow of the giving and the receiving of love. Well, this is all mucked up for us. So our lines of love are not open. And I almost wonder if that's what's made us more susceptible to this program of worry. We're not believing that we are lovable. We're not believing that we are the beautiful, magical, divine souls that we are. And that belief has blocked the giving and the receiving of love. And this block to the giving and the receiving of love is part of this program of worry. And maybe this is the worry that tells you that you are unlovable. Ooh, yeah. So I'm getting that that's what this message is. So this particular worry that we're working on today, because again, there's all kinds of worry, and we can work on all kinds of different worries in SRT sessions. But the worry today that we all would benefit from releasing is the worry that we are not acceptable, that we shouldn't accept ourselves, that we shouldn't love ourselves, that we aren't worthy of love. We are believing this lie that we are unlovable. And so we're calling for healing and clearing for all of us of that lie now. And we're allowing ourselves to, really analyze that and really be like, really? Is that true? Do I really believe that that's true? Do I really believe that I am that unlovable? And if I do believe that, when did I start believing that? Was it my soul really believing that about itself? Or is it because someone along the line, someone important to me, a main caregiver, a parent, a family member, a close friend, a teacher, whoever, it's their belief about me that I then took on as my own. And oftentimes it would be their own belief about themselves, right? When you believe that you are unworthy, it's a lot easier to believe that somebody else is unworthy. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you can be really full of yourself and think that you're better than everybody else, but that's a whole other story. So, my question to you would be, can you sit right now for a minute and ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Do I really think it's true? And if I really do think it's true, then how are the ways in which I can help myself so that I can get out of this energy of worry? And SRT is a great way to help you, but it is not the only way. And I never want people to feel like I am selling something that is like the magic pill or the magic fix. It's a beautiful tool. It is one tool of many tools. Okay, I have many, many tools in my toolbox. I have rituals, I have tarot, I have SRT, I have a therapist, I have supplements that I take because my brain doesn't process folic acid in the right way, right? So like, you know, we all have to have lots of tools, and SRT is one of those tools. So what I'd ask for you right now is to accept the healing that wants to come in for you right now through the work of this clearing. And can you look into some other tools for yourself to help you break free from this belief that you are unlovable? And you can say with me right now, I release myself from the belief that I am unlovable. I divorce myself from the story that I am unlovable. And I open myself up to a new identity and a new set of beliefs that says, I am awesome, powerful, amazing, loved. I am acceptable. And I think that's so interesting. I talked about this in another clearing with somebody the other day, and it's interesting that acceptance is the energy that came up as our replacement, but it's so important for us to be able to say, I am acceptable, right? Because like, that's a great first step. If you're struggling with believing that you are lovable, maybe that feels like a big mountain to climb, but can you at least just say like, no, I'm acceptable. I'm acceptable as I am. I am acceptable. So it is almost time for my dog Rosie. It's almost time for her second meal of the evening. She has 2 every night. It's a long story as to how we got to the point that she thinks she deserves 3 meals a day. It's on me. It's always the owner's fault, right? But I allowed that to happen. And so we're on to, she's had her breakfast, she had her lunch, or her first, we call it a snack or a dinner, and now she needs her second one right now. So this might be a distracting clearing, but we're gonna go for it. So Rosebud, would you mind laying down? Can you go lay down? Go lay down. We're gonna see how this goes. Okay, so we release ourselves from the belief that we are unlovable. We release ourselves from the belief that we are unacceptable, and we call in to our awareness a new idea, a new thought, a new story, a new identity, a new belief, one that says we are acceptable, we are loved, we're pretty darn rad. So we're going to work on that. Okay, what else do we need to know about this energy of worry that we can release ourselves from today? So what else do we need to know about this energy of worry? 6B or 6D? That's what I thought, 6B. So this is those positive energies that we always call in during our energy exchange. Acceptance. So I think it's just funny, I'm sorry. I think what we need to do is we need to check our acceptance numbers. Okay, so what percent are we open to the energy of acceptance? 0%. What percent are we blocked to the energy of acceptance? 100%. If you saw that move there, again, down here is my 0, up here is 100. So we're going to look at that. I'm sorry, it's just funny because sometimes the charts are like, oh girl, you think you know what you're doing or where you're going? I'm telling you where we're going or what we're doing. And your plans are cute and all, but ultimately your plans don't matter. Because I was going to keep diving into the worry, and the charts were like, no, we're done with the worry. We're done with the worry. We're letting the worry go. We're moving on from the worry. Now we're looking at this love thing. My clearings have been really long lately. They've been like 30 minutes, and maybe I'm trying, the spirit's like, girl, you gotta hurry up. You gotta stop having such long clearings. Okay, so now we're gonna look at that, right? So we're 0% open to acceptance. And again, we're talking here about self-acceptance, believing that we are acceptable. And then we're also blocked to that. So we're not open in our hearts, and there's like these external factors and forces influencing us as well. So let's take a peek at this. So what can you tell me? What can we do? What can we know? What can we hear? What can we understand about this lack of openness? That's the first thing we're looking at, this lack of openness to the energy of acceptance, to accepting ourselves. This is what came up in this other clearing. The decaying universe, this is coming up so much in clearings lately. I find this so interesting. I need to reach out to my teacher about this and ask her if she's getting this a lot too. Actually, let me confirm, because I have decaying universes right next to scarring. So is this decaying universe or is this scarring? Scarring. So I'm glad I checked, because it just hit me. When I looked down, I saw that they share a line really close to one another. And something in me was just like, oh no, I should ask about this scarring thing, because that actually seems like it could be important too. So scarring is shadow aspects of the self that need integrated. the ways in which we have been scarred become our shadow. And the things that are our shadow end up operating us below the surface unconsciously in a way that a lot of times is not in our highest good. And so they need integrated, that's all. So this belief that we are not acceptable came from scarring. It came from something that happened to us along the way that we then push down, not looking at it. So it becomes the shadow, and this shadow is worry. The shadow is the core of the worry. The worry and the shadow, they are one. And the worry is, I am not lovable, I am not acceptable. And that worry, that shadow part of us not being integrated, it's not, the shadow is not bad, it just needs integrated. We need to look at it, we need to figure out how to work with it, we need to figure out how to incorporate it into who we are. And again, that's where our tools come in. So, you know, I don't feel like you're ever supposed to, like, healing is such a weird thing. You're not necessarily like supposed to heal everything, because like scars don't heal, right? The wound heals, but the scar doesn't heal. The scar stays with you. The scar is a reminder. The scar is a memory. The scar is a mark in time. The scar is a part of us that we learn to live with. And again, we figure out how to incorporate it into who we are, into our body. Maybe we learn to show it off. Maybe we learn how to hide it. I don't know, but it's not something that you heal from. But what we have to do is we have to say, I accept that at a certain point in my life, this scarring took place, this trauma took place, this programming took place, and it wounded me. I swallowed it down. And I've been allowing that swallowed down part of me to exist inside of me as worry, to be worrisome thoughts, and potentially to block me from giving and receiving love. And so we just have to say, I'm willing to look at it. I don't have to run from my shadow. I don't have to run from my scars. I don't have to pretend they didn't happen. And I also don't have to overly identify with them. I can work with them. I can collaborate with my shadow. Ooh, let out a good exhale and say that with me. I can collaborate with my shadow. I trust myself to work with my shadow in a way that would create acceptance. I accept my shadow for who and what it is. I accept myself for who and what I am. And I'm willing to learn to work with it. How does that feel for you? You know, how does that feel when you think about incorporating your scars? When you think about, instead of hiding them or instead of over-identifying with them, because those are the two shadow sides of that, how does it feel to just work with them, accept them, collaborate with them? And that's what we're being called to do right now, is to figure out a way to collaborate with our shadow, to collaborate with those wounds, to acknowledge them, look at them, call them out, see them for what they are, and then decide how we want to be moving forward, how we want to act, who we want to show up as moving forward. Okay, so now what percent are we open to acceptance now that we've done that? Great. Well, that was really good. That was like 90%. Is there anything else we want to do when it comes to the openness to our acceptance? Going back to chart 23, we were at 23 a little while ago. The soul is lying. Things your soul doesn't want to look at. Well, this just confirms what we were just talking about. So we clear ourselves from all the things that our soul has not wanted to look at. We give ourselves courage. We call in bravery now. We call in a willingness to draw our awareness onto those things that our soul has been denying, those things that have become our, shadow operators. They are the things that have been operating below the surface, against our will, right? Like, oh, the worry just, I'm a victim of the worry. I'm controlled by the worry. It's not mine. It's out of my control. Well, that's because you're not looking at it. You're not looking at the cause of the worry. You're not looking at the shadow. You're letting it be there underneath the surface. and you haven't, again, incorporated it, looked at it, learned to work with it, and your soul is, in this kind of weird state of unrest because it knows this thing happened to you. It knows that you have the trauma. It knows that you have a scar, but you and your human mind are like, no, I don't. I'm not looking at that, blah, blah, blah. You're not dealing with it. So your soul and your conscious mind are in opposition. They're not working well together. And it takes all parts of us, right? Our ego, our shadow, our soul, our conscious mind, our subconscious mind. There's all kinds of parts to all of us. And we do best when we are all in awareness. Every single component of who we are into awareness and then into the energy of acceptance. Wow, because that's perfect, right? It's like we bring it into awareness and we don't fight it, we don't hate it, we don't judge it, we accept it. We accept it for what it is. We've talked about this before. I have been victimized, but I am not a victim. I'm not going to operate in my day-to-day as a victim. I'm not going to let a victim mindset or a victim archetype, rule how I act. I'm going to look at the fact that I was victimized and I'm going to decide, hey, because I was victimized, I'm going to not do these things over here. I'm going to have these boundaries. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But it requires us looking at it, bringing it into our awareness, accepting it, and then choosing our actions. Okay, so now what percent are we open to the energy of acceptance? 100%. Fantastic. So now what percent are we blocked? Because maybe we got rid of some of the blocks doing that too. Now what percent are we blocked to the energy of acceptance? Look at that. Only like 22%. So let's clear out that final 22% block to our acceptance. We're just going to ask, show us what we need to see here to knock out this final 17%. What do we need to know? What do we need to do? What do we need to say? What do we need to pray about? Well, that's interesting. Is this savior complex or unwillingness to learn? Unwillingness to learn. Yeah, it makes sense. Again, this just goes back to everything we've been saying. So we clear us all now from our unwillingness to learn. We clear stubbornness. Let out a good exhale and say, I release myself from this stubbornness now. I release myself from my refusal to learn about myself. Yeah. Unwillingness to learn, our soul lying to us, things in the shadow operating beneath the surface because we refuse to look at it. This is your call to action right now, to look at those things, to stop running from those things. I promise you, you are strong enough to deal with it. I promise you, you are strong enough to review it, analyze it, grieve, be sad that you were victimized, grieve that you were victimized, grieve the family you didn't have, grieve the experiences you have, grieve the assaults that you experienced, grieve the abuse that you had to take, grieve it all, be sad about it. But do not let it operate you. Do not let it create this, dark, hidden place where this worry comes from. That again, if we go all the way back, this worry is, I'm unlovable. Nobody will love me. I'm unacceptable. And oftentimes this leads to self-punishment, self-sabotage, self-limitation, all of these things that do not allow for us to create a really great life for ourselves. Okay, I'm just taking a minute to think about this and imagining that the collective is all just getting a nice, warm, lovely bath of, comforting, loving, healing energy swirled around it. Is that silly? Maybe. Do I care? No. If I worried about people thinking that I was weird, I would not be on the internet doing this stuff. Yeah, because this is weird. I get it. This is weird. I know it's weird, okay? I'm talking to my phone with a pendulum and some charts and talking about sending all of us this whirlpool of loving, good energy so that we can love ourselves. I know, it's weird. I get it. It's weird. But I don't care. We're weird around here. And we accept ourselves for being weird. It's all about acceptance. So if I can accept my weird, I hope you can accept your weird. If I can accept that I've been victimized, I hope you can accept that you've been victimized. And if I can accept my shadow and integrate my shadow and work with my shadow, so can you. I'm not special. There's nothing special about me. We can all do it. We can all do it, and we can all have better lives, which is the balance of the shit that we're going through in the big collective world right now, right? You choosing to make your life good is a big F you to the man out there who's trying to make everything else a nightmare. That's how I like to think of it. Oh, you want us all to have bad lives? Oh, you're trying to make my life hard. You're trying to crash the economy. You're trying to murder people. You're trying to do whatever. Sorry. You're not messing up my life. I refuse to allow you to mess up my life. Okay, so we're doing 100% of 100% of mop up. I'm going to double check. Did we clear all of the blocks? Yes, so now what percent are we blocked? 0%. Wonderful. So now we're going to call in any more replacement energies we may need. We know the big replacement energy was acceptance. Any other replacement energies you have for us today? Success. Ooh, I love that. Ooh, and freedom. And supportiveness. I feel like there's all these three bundled over here, and I was like, no, just talk about all these. Success, freedom, and supportiveness. We call in all of these new energies for us now, releasing ourselves from the hate of ourselves, releasing us from this energy of nobody loves me, I am unacceptable, I'm not supposed to be here, I've been victimized. Let out one more good exhale. All right, everybody. I hope that this was helpful for you in some way. Don't forget, you can always reach out to me, www.thepointedstone.com, if you're interested in learning more about spiritual response technique, or booking your own session, or having your very own SRT clearing recorded for you on an audio or video recording. All right, I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you next time on another episode of Clearing with Kate.